My research during my graduate studies has been on modeling box office revenues, asking questions like which movies become blockbusters, which ones bomb, and do critic ratings matter? How do they impact box office revenues?
A couple of years ago, I was reading a magazine and it referred to RottenTomatoes.com and ran correlations between the critic ratings and movie revenues. And I suggested to Jen that this might be something we might want to look at further.
And I took the idea and ran with it. I decided to look at critic ratings as just one factor and modeled box office revenues for the opening weekend and gross revenue as a function of the movie's characteristics, like MPA rating, genre, the number of screens a movie opened on, as well as, of course, critic ratings.
So I know that a lot of big businesses are in the business of collecting data and selling it to movie theater companies and movie producers. Is that where you got your data?
No. Very expensive to do it that way. I actually harvested all my data from the internet. A lot of data is available on the internet, and the job is just to actually harvest it. And so my data set consists of 1,650 movies that ranged from being released in 1996 to 2008. And these data were all collected from either imdb.com, rottentomatoes.com, or boxofficemojo.com.
So did you ever consider using ratings from users instead of critics?
I did actually, and I did that initially at first, but what I found was the high similarity between the user ratings and the critic ratings led me to just focus on the critic ratings.
So what about budget? Is bigger better?
Bigger is better. The higher budgets responded or positively correlated with higher opening weekend revenues as well as gross revenues.
So what were some of your other hypotheses?
I expected that of course, MPA rating and genre I was interested in, and I was wondering whether or not they did impact revenues. And I found that genre impacted both opening weekend and gross revenue, but the MPA rating only impacted gross revenue. And so I'm interested in the future in looking at how movies behave differently within different genres or MPA ratings.
So you plan to continue this research?
I do. I'm really looking forward to in the future either considering a buzz variable, looking at web blogs, how many times they're mentioned on web blogs, or looking at how many times a movie is searched for in one of the web searches, as well as considering a star power variable, which would look at the popularity of a director or the actors in the movie and kind of determine how they affect box office revenues.
So how has this research related to the coursework that you've had in your graduate career?
The research has been really great because I've been able to apply concepts as I've learned them to a particular industry. And because my research has remained the same throughout my graduate studies, my data set of information has grown since my first project. I can see the progress in my economic analysis from the first paper I did to the work that I'm doing now. And I think it's really great too because a lot of students may not be aware that they can find the economics in things with which they're already familiar.
So one last question. How has this changed the way you view movies?
It's really changed which movies I decide to view. I've become a little bit of a snob because my Netflix queue now contains a lot of movies that were either very highly rating according to the Rotten Tomatoes critics or are considered to be classics.
Oh, we better be quiet. The movie's getting ready to start.